Hi, I'm Bart Hanson. I'm the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description.
This is a bomb pot hand as I email you. So the game is 2-5. 5-10. Sorry. And it was playing pretty loose. A lot of straddles, pretty crazy. And this bomb pot's 9-handed, $50 a piece. So 450 in the middle.
Okay, so let me just stop you real quick because
Yep.
I want to tell everybody who might not know what a bomb pot is. So a bomb pot, by the way, this is in the New York area because you said the villain, and the villain plays on Live at the Bike, and I didn't know she went back over there. Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
no, this was actually on the cruise.
Oh, okay.
Poker cruise.
You ran
Yes.
into that girl that we're talking about on the cruise, on a poker cruise?
Yep.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right.
Okay. And they had 510 on a poker cruise? Was this a card player cruise?
No, not a card player cruise. Some other one, but there was a lot of poker.
Well, that's pretty cool to have a 510 game on a cruise. It must have been easy
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
But a bomb pot, and I do like bomb pots. You know, I've talked about this, like that PLO high bomb pots are stupid. No limit bomb pots can be okay. So a bomb pot is when you put dead money out in the pot, and everybody gets two cards, and you play from after the flop. And what's interesting, Gene, about this is that I actually I'm gonna hopefully this is gonna work because you sent this to me in. I actually poker crunched this scenario, and I think it's gonna come up on the stream. So I'm gonna be able to bring Poker Cruncher up here in a second for this bomb pot. But so you're 1250 effective with the villain. So you are in the big blind, right? So you get two.
I'm in the big blind.
Yeah,
Yes.
you get
And
two
so,
cards.
Sorry.
You get two random cards, and it ends up being one.
Right. So right away, it was like every dealer change bomb pot, right? So right away, I'm not too thrilled about it because I'm basically in the second worst position. Right?
By the way, I want to mention to somebody too, guys, that I mean, you know, if you want to play around and promote being bomb pots, that's fun too. But people have realized that position is huge in a bomb pot. So it's not really fair if someone says, let's play a bomb pot, it's on their button. Usually the fairest way to do it is to have either you guys are going to do it every dealer change, which sounds like what you guys are doing, which is random, or if they want to play a bomb pot, you do it by some card on the flop. Because here, you're in the big blind, so you're at a huge positional advantage. All right, so what do you get dealt? What do you get dealt?
So I get pocket queens. So but I get pocket queens, but I didn't even look. So we deal. Everybody gets dealt. They deal the flop. So the flop comes out. Jack of diamonds, 8 of hearts, 3 of clubs. Like I said, 450 in the middle.
Yep.
And I look and I got pocket queens. And like I said, right off the bat, you know, I wasn't too thrilled. And I'm like, okay, here we go. So I'm prepared to play like super tight because I'm 9-handed. I'm in big blind. So I'm right off before I even look at my hand, I'm already kind of mentally prepared to play super tight. I look at pocket queens and I'm like, here we go, right? So the small blind comes out and bets 200.
Okay.
Right. So again, right away, obviously I'm never raising because but I thought, I know I got 7 people to act behind me, but I thought like I can't fold. That's like way too weak.
Well, let's bring this up. So because we did this phone call and I learned a couple things, so I think this is going to come up, guys in the live chat. You can confirm if this is coming up because I just did a quick screen capture. So what I'm bringing up here is pocket queens on a Jack 8-3 board. Your combinations of pocket queens on a Jack 8-3 board. It did come up. So Jack of diamonds, 8 of hearts, 3 of clubs, Queen of diamonds, and then you're up against 8 other people, so 9 ways, and I gave everybody else infinite ranges here. So anybody has any 2 cards. And what I found here was that your equity is 25% against the field, meaning that everybody else has the same, because they're told, we set them as random, has 9.3%. But when you're up against an unlimited, uncapped, random range, your equity is only 25%. Now, I've talked about bomb pots before and how people do not understand. It's almost like when people move from no limit to PLO. They don't understand how the nature of having so many cards changes the hand strengths. And what I would say is that I think it's pretty close when you're next to act that this is probably – I think this is a fold when you're next to
Really?
act. I do. I think it's a fold when you're next to act. The more connected the board is, the more it is a fold. Now, once you start going down in position, like if you're on the button or something like that, then you can start when you don't have to worry about the 7 people behind you. But you have to have a much, much stronger range here. And you can see you're only 25% against a random Kansas anyways. Now, one other thing too I want to bring up, and this is too, I mean, and also too looking at like equities and things like this. When we're looking at backdoor equity, right? When we're deciding whether or not we're going to call with a certain hand when somebody uses small sizing on the flop, right? We've talked about that. So let's say, for example, we're in a 3-bet pot and we have like 6-7 suited, right? And the board comes out Jack 7. Well, let's say we've got 6-7 suited and the board comes out Jack 7-3. Something like that, right? Jack 7-3. Would you rather check call with 6-7 on Jack 7-3, or would you rather check call with pocket 8s?
Well, of course, 6-7 because you got 5 outs.
Right.
You can pick up some.
So the same thing here. Like if I'm going to change this and I'm going to change your queens here to like Queen Jack of Hearts, which is Queen Jack with the backdoor, you'll see that the equity against the field goes up, and it's higher than 20. It actually goes up to 29%. So Queen Jack of Hearts is actually 29%. It's actually 5% more. So people get caught up with these overpairs, and you don't even have a chance to improve if you're behind. It's better to have a 5-card hand or like a pair with a kicker than just a pocket pair in your hand.
So one thing about the percentages, which actually I always wonder.
Yeah.
So this is the equity to the river, right? But in fairness, a lot of hands that have some kind of equity will obviously never see the river, right? So I mean, I don't know if you can change the deal to the well, like what's our equity right now? Like I understand we're obviously up against like incident range, so all 2 pairs, all that stuff. But some hands that have some equity, like whatever 3x or some hands that can hit some 2 pair that have equity to the river will never continue no matter what. So I think our equity is probably a little higher than 20 whatever was it 25%.
Well, I mean, yeah, but the hand isn't over though. I mean, we do want to look at the equities though, because you're not. I mean, if you were going to tell me that you're going to raise or fold, then that would be one thing. But
no. What I'm saying is that overall equity versus the field, some hands that have equity versus can never continue because they're like way too weak that they have some equity, especially with 2 cards to count, which is what the cruncher is showing us, right? So I know it's still we're not going to have like a whole lot of monster equity, but I'm saying it's probably a little more than 25%. Or I guess what I'm saying is we were probably a little. It's not as we're not as much a dog versus the field as 25%. I guess what I'm saying, right?
Well,
because it's.
I mean, it's tough to quantify. I understand what you're saying. It's tough to quantify because we're adding up everybody else's random equity against your hand, right? At 25%, and you're saying that some of those hands are going to continue on.
7 hands, right? They can hit 2 pair, can hit runners, like all that stuff adds up when it's times 7, right? So anyway, but I get your point, though. I mean, like I said, I was kind of aware, fundamentally. So I was prepared to play that. But I thought, and also as far as the Queen Jack, again, one thing that, we unblocked the jacks. So, and, obviously that's something that people might be leading with and possibly calling. So, I guess that's kind of interesting. Like, do we want to kind of have a better chance to improve versus have more hands that might be like batting that we're beating right now? Right.
So you call.
Anyway, so I decided to call.
Yep.
Right or wrong. And the villain, who's like I said, you might be familiar with. The villain is in the under the gun position, so right to my left, calls as well, and everybody. So and everybody else falls, which I was happy to see that it's 3-handed now.
Yep.
Okay. The turn is a 6 of spades. So the pot is like about 1,050.
Okay.
And the turn is a 6 of spades. And the small blind now checks.
Yep.
Okay. So I think I decide to check. I think just to see what happens.
So you're not comfortable putting money in because of the overcall, basically? Is that kind of what it is?
Well, essentially, I figured, I'm going to check and see what happens, and I'm thinking I'm probably ahead, but obviously any kind of two pair, or a set, but two pair I'm kind of worried about is possible, right? And I really think again the way the game was playing, I think any one of those hands will bet, right, for sure,
Yeah.
kind of to protect. The pot is huge, So, but if it gets checked through, then I might even bet the river, but see what happens. But
I
certainly
think
I
I
just
would.
want to.
I think I'd bet a small sizing here. If I called and then you have this girl call behind you, it's a brick, right? So there's no draws that come in. I might
Right.
bet like 250 to 300 and sort of reflect the fact that everybody's range is uncapped. You know what I mean? Like anybody could have anything, so that you're supposed to use small sizing with your value hands. But God, it's like I understand when the small blind checks here, but I was going to say when that person overcalls you on the flop, man, I would not be thrilled here at all. To the point where if the small blind bet again, say the small blind now bet 400 on the turn, were you going to fold on Jack 8-3? So turns a six,
Well,
and let's say that they bet 400 on the turn, small blind.
oh, small blind.
Yeah,
Well, you know what?
with
I
the
think
person
I might
behind
have.
you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If it's
Yeah,
a small blind bet, I think I'm going to fold now because I got to, he's continuing to bet and I got a
right.
call behind me. I think I
Yeah,
have to fold at that point. Yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's close. So you decide to check, and now what happens?
And now the villain, the overcaller, bets 500, which is about half the pot at this point, and the small blind folds.
And the small blind folds. So if you call
Right.
here, the pot's 2,000, and you guys only have 500 left. Is that right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Wow. So if you call, the pot's 2,000, you got 500 left. I mean, this seems like an all-in or just fold here, right? In this spot.
Well, that's. I'm
I mean,
asking you.
I'm just trying to figure. I'm just making sure I have the stacks right, right? Like she bet
Yeah, no,
500.
you're right.
The pot's
That's right.
2,000. You only have 500 left, right? You put in 500 on the turn and 200 on the flop and 50 in pre. You start with 1250. So
Yeah.
you could either go with it or fold. And again, I got to tell you, I might lean towards folding. I mean, it's just one of these things where what does she? You're really just praying that she's overplaying Ace Jack. I mean, that's it.
Right. How about just to lean on your familiarity with the villain, assuming you play with her, just knowing whatever you know,
Yeah.
which is more than like at that point I did. Like,
Yeah.
Based on I only seen her play a couple of times. I thought it was kind of loose, but
You know what's funny about her is that when I had played with her outside the show, I sort of got that impression too. But then when I played on the show, and maybe it was because a function of that she was playing a little bit larger than normal, she made some crazy laydowns. And she wasn't playing all that crazy. I got her off of a flush one time, she turned a flush, and then I got her off of it like on a four flush. She folded like pocket jacks to my four bet pretty easily. So she seems to have some. I mean, I still think she's obviously a recreational player, but she could be break even, Gene. To be honest with you, at a level,
I mean, No, I hear you.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, this was very early on. I played some more with her later.
Yeah.
At this point, I thought she was kind of loose and like really kind of, very wide and calling wide. But after I played, I didn't see a whole lot. So what you're saying actually makes sense. I was a little bit surprised towards the end, but at this point, I was still not privy to that. So
what did you end up doing with $500 bet?
So I ended up check calling.
See, I think you just got to either put it in or go. I mean, once you have only a 25% pot size bet, like, are you gonna? Are you calling to fold to the last 500 on the river? The pot's gonna be like 2,500, 500 to call.
Yeah, I think probably to be completely honest, I think I may have I had way more. And she was the shortest stack.
So you may have miscounted or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
I may have not really understood like how much she's got left exactly.
Yeah.
I had way more.
Right.
So I just when I sent you the hand, I recreated because I know the amount, so I put the effective. But to start with, I may have lost track of like how much she's got left exactly.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking is I'm going to call and like any kind of ace jack or whatever is probably going to just check the river. So I was actually preparing to check folded river most likely. I mean, maybe
until you figure it out how much money she had left when she puts it in.
Yeah, by the time I figured out, if I realize I'm getting 5-1 or something on the river, maybe.
All right, so let's go to the river. River is a 6
so the
of
river
clubs.
is very interesting. River pairs the 6.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and this is where the question is. So now I'm thinking, well, I'm beating Jack 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what do I do now?
I mean, that's why I would have just put it in on the turn. I mean, now that 8-3 and Jack 8 get counterfeit, then if I found myself in the spot, I would just move all in now because you're beating a lot of the hands. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's what I did actually.
Yeah.
I just, I thought about it. Well, I'm definitely calling no matter what, and I figured, she might actually check back Jack 8, so I just moved all in, and she snapped me off with pocket Jack. So, yeah, that was that. But I thought it was just interesting.
Yeah, I mean the other thing too that you got to understand also too that we're gonna end the show, but people have no idea how to play bomb pots, Gene. So I actually take that back. So hands like Jack 8 and 8-3 and Jack 3, I think you're gonna find that those hands are gonna raise a lot on the flop too. It's probably hard for her to show up with a lot of 2-pair types of hands that get counterfeit because I think that people just might go with them if they don't understand. I think probably for her raising Jack 3 or 8-3 is could likely be a mistake. When it goes small blind lead and you call and she's next to act, this is what I'm talking about. Bomb pots are like PLO. You got to make the adjustments for the number of random cards that are out there. It's not a regular no limit hand. Thanks for the call, Gene. Appreciate it. I like bomb pots. All right. Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA200. Click on the link right there.